Check, check.
I should have checked a couple of these things before I got on.
Okay. I know everything's working now. Let me make sure I'm on the twits. I think I am on the twits. Yes. Okay. Check, check. Wow, the lag time is really long. Okay, I'm on the twits. Yep, okay. Welcome back to the Homes Politicast. We have got quite a show for you today. We've got a lot of things that have happened. So first of all, the front runner in the gubernatorial race in the state of Michigan was arrested and his house raided by the FBI for a misdemeanor charge. Well, 4 misdemeanor charges, but regardless. Prominent Democrats seemed gleeful at the weaponization of the FBI for political purposes. I'm not sure if they understand that when you weaponize a branch of the government against your political opponents, they will be in power again. Maybe they won't use it this time, maybe they won't use it next time, but eventually they will. All right, Democrats should keep that in mind. Another criminal killed by a cop for fighting the cop, and the media again lied to us about the details. So as we learn more, we find the media was wrong about almost everything involving Patrick Leola. He was drunk over 4 times the legal blood alcohol content limit. He was driving around drunk. That is a felony. He could have killed somebody. He fought with the cops. He stole their taser. The media was wrong about almost everything involved in this. We'll get into some of that. Also, the media doesn't know what words mean. And we'll show you that too. We've got, of course, all of this documented. That is why this show exists, is because the media they don't have the capability of using words in the way that they were intended to be used. They don't know the definitions. They don't really care about the definitions. In fact, they want you to use the traditional definition while they change the definition so that you think something happened that didn't. And finally, the Ottawa County Commissioner's race is heating up, and I will be speaking with some of the candidates soon. So, if you have any questions that you want to ask of your Ottawa County Commissioner, bring them on. We're also going to be taking a look at the last commissioners meeting. We got some crazy stuff that was said. The commissioners don't really say anything about it. I'm going to be asking Commissioner Matt Finsky about some of these things. So, without further ado, I am Anon Don, and this is the Homes Politicast. Wow, that's really short. Okay. So Ryan Kelly is the proposed front runner. There was a Real Clear Politics thing done. He was like 4 points ahead of Governor Whitmer in the race. That's without any Republican support. This is before the primaries. So if Real Clear Politics is accurate at all, and I believe that it is, Ryan Kelly has a great shot at being our next governor. And that's, again, like I said, before the primaries are even over. Because I will vote for him if Garrett Soldano doesn't get the nomination. I'm voting for Garrett Soldano for the nomination. But if he doesn't get it, I'm going to Ryan Kelly. So that's how it's looking for the Michigan gubernatorial race. Well, that frontrunner, who's a threat to Governor Gretchen Whitmer, is being arrested for his role in the Capitol riots. Now, I appreciate Bridge, Michigan right here. I'm going to say it. I like that they said the Capitol riots, because a lot of news organizations have been using the Capitol insurrection. And I'll show you that in a little bit. I'll show you where the insurrection is. We'll go over the definition of the word, because I don't think that word means what you think it means. So, here's Ryan Kelly coming out of federal court in Grand Rapids. He was released on Thursday, just hours after the FBI arrested him. So a lot of people gathered to pray for him, to meet him coming out. So here we go into the story. The FBI on Thursday arrested Michigan Republican gubernatorial candidate Ryan Kelly and raided his home, a stunning development in one of the state's most unpredictable primary races. Well, not exactly unpredictable, Ryan's Frontrunner, but whatever. A criminal complaint filed in Washington, D.C. federal court shows Kelly is facing multiple misdemeanor charges for his role in protests at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, when supporters of former President Donald Trump stormed the building to try and stop certification of President Joe Biden's win. Now, that's not what they were doing. Well, possibly, but that's not what happened. They didn't stop it. It wasn't an insurrection. That's why I appreciate that they didn't call it an insurrection. So, the FBI executed both a search warrant and arrest warrant at Kelly's home in Allendale Township in western Michigan and arrested Kelly. That's right down the road from me. Spokesperson Mara Schneider told Bridge, Michigan, Kelly was arraigned later in the afternoon in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Michigan in Grand Rapids. So I'm looking for, we're going to skip. Okay. So here are the charges. Kelly has denied entering the U.S. Capitol on June 6, 2021, but court records show that he has been charged with multiple misdemeanors punishable by up to a year in prison. So, one of them, knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority. I didn't know the lawn in front of the Capitol was restricted ground. A lot of people should be in prison then. I should be in prison. I was on the Capitol ground when I was 15, 14, something like that. I don't know. But if being on the grounds is restricted, then I should be in prison. Yeah, when I disappear and actually don't come back and all that, you'll know that the government has arrested me for being on the grounds when I was 15. All right, the next one. Disorderly and disruptive conduct on restricted building or grounds. Okay. Didn't see any evidence of that. Knowingly entering or knowingly engaging in any act of physical violence against a person or property in any restricted building or grounds. He engaged in acts of violence against a person or property. I haven't seen any evidence of that. Willfully injuring or committing any depredation against any property of the United States. Okay, so he either hit somebody or he broke something. Let's see. There's a video here. There's Ryan Kelly. Huh. Very dangerous man right there. I can see why the FBI has arrested him, taken him into custody. Very, very dangerous man right there. Wow. That was super dangerous. Oh my goodness. That was the most dangerous thing I think. Okay, so if you can't see it, if you're on the podcast, first of all, go on over to YouTube and watch this. Because then you can see all these videos that I'm about to play for you. But if you didn't see it, Ryan Kelly is standing, it looks like on the top of the steps, maybe next to some scaffolding, and he's waving the crowd to come in closer or maybe go on into the Capitol. So if that's the evidence that the FBI has against him, they're going to have a tough prosecution. A lot of other Republican candidates have thrown their support behind Ryan Kelly, not politically, I can assure you, but they are saying that this was a political hit job, that this is ridiculous, that they're praying for Kelly, all of that stuff. So, Republicans, pull your head outs. Pull your heads out. Pull your head outs. Pull your heads out. The Democrats are going to come after you with everything they've got available. If you are not willing to use political power to stop them, then this is going to be the result. They're going to keep on using the FBI. They're going to keep on arresting us for being at a protest, for waving our arms, for saying that Donald Trump won the election, while they continue to say that Stacey Abrams won the election and Hillary Clinton won the election. There's not a standard with them. The standard is take out the Republicans. So, without further, I'm just gonna go now because that's about all there is to this. I've got a clip here of Ryan Kelly on what is his name? Justin Barclay's show. He spoke this morning, actually. So let's listen to Ryan Kelly saying what happened. This is a bit longer of an answer. Crap. So, I didn't make sure the audio output capture was right. That's awesome. I'm so glad that I did that. Let's try this one more time. So, I'm going to skip around.
2020 election haven't been answered.
Where?
To other issues.
House yesterday, they prayed.
There's faceless claims here, is what it is, right? And the dishonest regard of the things. Pray that God continues to give me the strength, the wisdom, and the regard. I mean, I guess have stood up.
So maybe you could mention that.
I have, yes, yeah. I'll clarify that. I did not go inside the Capitol or any buildings. And then the rest of the story will, as the court case plays out, we'll be sharing more on that at some point in the near future.
We can understand that. Let me ask you last and not least here. Do you regret any of that? Anything that happened that day? I mean, do you regret being there? Any of these things?
President Trump had a rally that day, and he called for Americans to come there and support him. To shine a light on fraud that happened in our election. And there was a lot of American flags there that day. There was a lot of people singing the national anthem. And so I think that day, that we were there celebrating America, it's going to be remembered for a very long time. We'll say that much.
All right. I want to ask this before we let you go. Your family, obviously this happened.
Okay. So, I think I'm echoing now. My apologies. So, we've got there from Ryan Kelly. He did not enter the building. He was on the grounds. I don't know that they're going to be able to prove that he hit anybody or broke anything. So this is just a political hit. That's literally by definition what this is. When you have a charge that you're bringing against someone, and you can't do anything with them, that's all it is a political hit, right? So unless somebody has some video of Ryan Kelly attacking a police officer or breaking a window or doing something, then he's going to get off of this. I hope he sues the FBI. I hope he shuts him down, because this is ridiculous. The FBI should not be able to do this to American citizens. That's not what the FBI is for. The FBI was not intended to be a terror wing of the Democrat Party. And that seems to be what it's become. I don't know who up there is running the FBI that thinks it's okay to come after everybody at January 6th riot, and then they leave the people that have burned down cities across the United States, attacked federal courthouses, and threatened federal judges. They can just leave them be. But that's a double standard that we should not be playing with. All right, moving on. So, Patrick Leola, let's see. I'm looking for a report that says that he was unarmed and let's see. HuffPost is pretty darn awful. Okay, yeah, there we go. I'm sure this will be great. They're gonna be spot on. So we actually played all the video. You remember, if you've been here, we played the video from this arrest, right? So the prosecutor is now looking at second-degree murder charges against the, I don't know why they had to put white officer. You know what? I appreciate that they put a black man. He's not an African American. He's not from Africa. He's a black American. So Kane County Prosecutor Chris Becker revealed the charge against Christopher Schur, a 7-year veteran of the Grand Rapids Police Department, at a press conference on Thursday. He says, "I believe there is a sufficient basis to proceed on a single count of second-degree murder, and that charge has been filed with the courts as of today." Now, he said he's very confident that this is all going to go extremely well, that he's going to get the decision in his favor. I don't think so. I think he's going to actually have a very large problem getting reelected in Kent County, mostly because I'm not going to be doing him any favors in that regard. If he proceeds with this, no, he should not be. He should not be a county prosecutor. If you're gonna take a police officer that's trying to do his job, fighting with a black guy twice his size, who is trying to steal, actively trying to take, and has possession of his taser, then no, you don't. You shouldn't be county prosecutor. So they go through this whole thing. Let's see. They don't say that. Okay, so the stories have dropped all of the unarmed, innocent black man stuff by now. You can go back. You can look at stories from further back, and they all have, innocent black man murdered by police officers. So this is an interesting thing we've got here, though. This just came out from let's see, Grand Rapids, Michigan, from Wood TV 8. Came out actually last month. So toxicology tests for Patrick Leola show that he was over the legal limit for driving when he was pulled over by a Grand Rapids police officer who ultimately shot and killed him. Patrick Leola's blood alcohol content level was 0.29. Yeah, you heard that right. The legal limit is 0.08. He was at a 0.29. So he had previous convictions for drunken driving. So he's a man that generally drives around drunk, or has a habit of it. He's already been caught doing it. So this man is a danger to our children. He's a danger to our community. And Christopher Schur is a friggin' hero. He should have a medal pinned to his chest. A couple of them, maybe. He got rid of a very dangerous man. But all the left can do is say, well, he's a racist, and we need to get rid of cops. We need to We need to have our streets run by these kinds of people, because the cops are just out hunting innocent black men, and they should run the streets. Well, if that's the kind of place you want to live, you can go to California. There are many places where the cops have effectively no power, and they're not places that you want to live, I assure you. So, let's see. Documents released by GRPD last week show that officers who arrived after Leola was shot also suspect the passenger in Leola's car was either drunk or high. Leola's attorneys have argued that the reason Leola was pulled over is inconsequential. They say that she repeatedly failed to de-escalate the situation. They have called for him to be fired and charged. Of course they did. Of course, because his lawyer is race baiting Ben Crump, and what's the other guy, that reverend that keeps on trying to start a race war. Anyway, yeah, his attorneys are garbage. All they do is represent black criminals that have been shot by police and say that it's racist. That's all they do. So they have no credibility. Here we are, a month and a half, 2 months after Patrick Leola has been shot, and we finally have got the real story. This is why you cannot trust the media. When they say, innocent black man, unarmed, shot by white cop, you can't believe that. They don't even know that. They weren't there, generally, for one. They're going off a video that they saw, for two. They're probably going to twist the video in some way, for three. Right? They have no idea what's going on. So if you're trusting CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, whatever, for the latest in the story, and they're telling you all this information that they can't possibly know, maybe you should be a little suspect. Maybe, just maybe, they're leading you by the nose into a worldview that they have, that they want you to have with them. So, Patrick Leola turns out to be a bunch of hullabaloo, bunch of bull honky, as most of these racist cop shootings are. Not many of them pan out to actually be something legitimate. But I digress. All right. The Associated Press doesn't know what the word carnage means. Interesting little... Okay, takeaways. Carnage at the Capitol in a case against Trump. So, they see how they get away with this headline is because in the first sentence they say, an injured officer who slipped in blood and spoke of carnage. I put the wrong inflection on that. An injured officer who slipped in blood and spoke of carnage. So, video of a huge violent mob pushes through the United States Capitol. Former President Donald Trump's allies and family members acknowledging his lies. That makes no sense. So this woman, who probably shouldn't be a cop, she's tiny. I could kick her lily butt. Why do they make tiny little petite women cops? That's ridiculous. All right. So House investigators worked to lay out a devastating case Thursday in the first of a series of June hearings examining the January 6, 2020 insurrection at the Capitol. You know, there it is. There it is, insurrection, like I said. And now this is, of course, in the Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press. All of our state pay M Live also calls it an insurrection. And this story isn't so much, or my story anyway, my story isn't so much about what happened on January 6th. We know what happened. We saw the video. A bunch of people were standing there milling around. Some guy stole a podium. Another guy broke a window. A woman was shot by Capitol Police. And another guy died. Another police officer died like 2 days later of a heart attack. And it was reported that he died at the Capitol shooting or whatever. Some Capitol people killed him. So, I am looking at this story because it captures the essence of what I do. So here it is. Here it is. Oh shoot. Okay, I got it back. Carnage at the Capitol. What does carnage mean? What does that word actually mean? The media uses it. I'm not sure they know what it means. But there's this handy dandy thing that I know of called the internet. Carnage. Noun. The killing of a large number of people. Synonym: slaughter, massacre, mass murder, mass destruction, butchery, bloodbath, indiscriminate bloodshed, bloodletting, annihilation, destruction, decimation, havoc, holocaust, pogrom, ethnic cleansing. Carnage has a lot of meanings, or a lot of synonyms. One meaning: the killing of a large number of people. Now, as far as I know, one person died at the Capitol from violence. A couple other people had medical emergencies. A couple people that died a couple days later were reported as dying there. One person was killed. So it's not even the killing of a small number of people, which would be awful. But even if there was a killing of like 4 or 5 people got killed at the Capitol, that's still not carnage. Carnage is the killing of a large number of people. I don't know if you're seeing this yet. I hope you are. But you can't trust the media when they tell you something. You just can't trust them. I wish you could. I really do. Because I would love to be able to just get accurate information. Excuse me. I couldn't anymore. I had like, there was just something stuck on there, or I don't know, it was flapping. I had to pull it off. Might have been a piece of skin. Who knows? You can't trust the media because they will make up things. They'll make up a story that fits their narrative. Then when it becomes evident that the narrative is totally opposite of what they were saying, they'll just let the story disappear. Now this, of course, this story can't disappear. They have to keep on hammering this and hammering this and hammering this until the American people just get sick of hearing about it. That's the only way that this story is going to go away, because the media, they cannot bear to let it go. This is literally all they have, right? This is their big moment against Trump. This is their the capstone of what they all of their efforts against Trump. This is the highlight of it. So this is the grand insurrection that they wanted. And so it doesn't matter how much evidence there is that people were just milling about. Ryan Kelly can, we saw that video of Ryan Kelly just standing there, waving his arms, waving people. And very dangerous stuff. Very, very dangerous. But the more the American people see that, and they're told that Ryan Kelly waving his arms is carnage, that a Capitol police officer shooting a protester is carnage, hopefully the more the American people see that, the more they will lose their trust in the media. Now, we speak of carnage, but there's another word that the media doesn't quite know how to use, doesn't quite know the meaning of, and that's insurrection. Insurrection, noun, a violent uprising against an authority or government. So a violent uprising. Synonyms: rebellion, revolt, uprising, mutiny, revolution, insurgency, rising, rioting, riot, sedition, civil disobedience, civil disorder, unrest, anarchy, fighting in the streets, coup d'etat, jacare, putsch. I don't know actually how to say that last. or the last two actually. But I disagree that a riot and an insurrection are the same thing. Let's I think that was Merriam-Webster. Let's see if okay, so an act or instance of revolting against civil authority or an established government. Let's see if there's another, because let's see, legal definition. Legal definitions are good. I like legal definitions. Okay, arising or rebellion of citizens against their governments, usually manifested by acts of violence. So all of these things include violence. Where was the violence on January 6th? We see a lot of people saying insurrection, riot. It was chaos at the Capitol. But all the videos that I've seen, and I've shown some, are just people standing around, maybe walking into the Capitol, somebody crawling through a window. It's not exactly BLM burning down a federal courthouse, or BLM standing outside Justice Brett Kavanaugh's house screaming that they want him dead. Right? It's not that. So when Democrats can find it in their spines to take seriously the BLM insurrectionists, the BLM rioters, the BLM arsonists, and the BLM attempted murderers, then, you know, I still won't take January 6th seriously, but I will at least know that they're serious about insurrection. They're not serious about insurrection. They're serious about politically punishing their opponents. Republicans are probably going to start heading that way too. They're all pretty upset. This is not a good precedent for our country. Democrats, you're doing something wrong. You're breaking the system. All right? Please stop. Okay. So, the media cannot word. Associated Press has no idea what they're talking about. Let's go now to meeting our county commissioners. This is what we've all been waiting for. This applies to West Michigan. Well, I guess Ryan Kelly applied to West Michigan too, and Patrick Leola applied to West Michigan. This has been all about West Michigan today. And that's what I want. You know, I want us to have an eye on what our politicians are doing, especially our county commissioners. They fund every bureaucratic department that we have here in Ottawa County. They have a lot to do with what happens. So we have a little definition, because you may not know what your commissioner does, your county commissioner does. So here in Ottawa County, the Board of Commissioners provides leadership and policy direction for all county activities. The board is comprised of 11 members elected every 2 years from districts of equal population. The board has established 4 5-member standing committees: Finance and Administration Committee, Health and Human Services Committee, Talent and Recruitment Committee, and Planning and Policy Committee. So these 11 members staff these 4 committees with 5 people each, and then they have meetings. Meetings of the commissioners happen on the second, fourth Tuesday of each month at 1:30, and so these committee meetings, they have items of interest to the commissioners. Now, the commissioner's job is basically to spend the county's money in the way that best represents their constituents, right? We vote for, I guess, this county I didn't, because I wasn't in this county 2 years ago, but this county last election voted for Greg DeYoung. Commissioner District 9 voted for Matt Finsky, who I'm talking to on Monday. I've got some questions for him. So we've if you're in West Michigan, you've seen all the signs Ottawa Impact, vote Sylvia Rhodes, vote Allison Medea, vote Joe Moss. You've seen all these names, you've seen all these faces. Now, I want you to get familiar with what they do and why they're running. So, Sylvia Rhodes has a speech up on her website. I'm going to bring that up onto the screen here, and we are going to... Trumpet is not really hard. Don't listen to that video. Trumpet's quite... I mean, it's a little hard, but that's not what I'm here for. So, Sylvia Rhodes, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, meet your Ottawa County District 8 candidate for County Commissioner.
Ottawa County has been strategically targeted by the progressive left on racial and cultural issues for at least a decade, and most of us didn't know it. Our Ottawa County Commissioners, with the Lakeshore Ethnic Diversity Alliance, joined efforts as an early core member with the far-left organization of Race Forward, UC Berkeley's Othering and Belonging Institute, and the Government Alliance on Race and Equity, which is called GARE, as early as 2014. In early 2019, the commissioners established a DEI department on the recommendations of these organizations, as well as at the request of a few large local corporations. GARE and its parent organizations of Race Forward and the Othering and Belonging Institute of UC Berkeley are directly aligned with progressive cities like Portland, Seattle, and Minneapolis, the Democratic Party, Planned Parenthood, and LGBTQ activism. Race Forward even funded Black Lives Matter in its early years, around the same year as Ottawa County first aligned with these groups. Governor Whitmer's MDHHS and AG Nestle's Michigan Department of Civil Rights are also members of GARE. In 2015, Ottawa County was one of 2 pilot locations in the United States to participate in the Transforming White Privilege Project, with staff from the County Administrator's Office, Sheriff's Office, and Human Resources Office participating. More recently, Race Forward worked with the Biden administration on implementing a racial equity executive order on Biden's first day in office.
All right, I think we've heard quite enough to be getting on with. Wow. So, Sylvia Rhodes is obviously has just become aware of all these things. It's been happening since, she said, 2014, almost a decade, maybe longer. So that's what our tax dollars, that's what our Ottawa County funding is going towards, is Black Lives Matter, race, hustling, people that are getting paid to tell our community what we need to do about our race. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I can handle being welcoming to my black neighbors. In fact, I know I can. I've got a black neighbor that likes me very much. So I don't need all these the alphabet soup committees telling me what to do. I need them to go away and leave the funding for maybe something like teaching our children math and reading. I am a substitute teacher in this county and in other counties. I have run into so many third graders that cannot read basic books. Friggin' Dr. Seuss. They struggle with Dr. Seuss in third grade. Third grade is like 10, 9, 8, 9 years old. Okay? Maybe if we took some of the funding away from these radical leftist groups and applied it more to teaching our kids, helping our kids to read, doing story times down at the library, funding children reading events, maybe our kids would be a little bit smarter. So, that's Sylvia Rhodes. I like what she has to say. I met her. I'm hoping to get an interview with her very soon. So let's look at just a little bit of what happens at our county board meetings. This lady was up there telling us all about all about what we need to be doing about the gay people in our prisons, the transgender people. You know what? I'll just let her tell you what her stuff is all about. And here we go.
Care. This refers to services that are provided in addition to program services and services received after discharge, such as follow-up and monitoring activities, outreach, recruitment, and retention. The types of services offered for LGBT may differ because of their health status of the clients or their partners, their living arrangements, the type of stability of their employment, their level of comfort about their sexual orientation, and their previous experience with service providers and service systems. 3 out of the 14 do's and don'ts on page 99, from what I would think would need to happen here at the Fillmore campus, the jail facilities, and the new Family Justice Center would be, I'm just picking 3 out of the 14. Required training on transgender issues for all of the staff.
Yeah.
Find out the sexual orientation of all clients.
Oh, yeah.
Allow transgender clients to use bathrooms and showers based on their gender self-identity and gender role.
Put the men in the showers with the women. Stop the presses. This lady has got it down. This is our Ottawa County Healthcare, or Health and Human Services Committee meeting. This is it, folks. If you think we don't have a problem in Ottawa County, you're dead wrong. And I will be asking Matt Finsky about some of these things. We had better start paying attention, because this lady, she's pushing for it. We've got leftist programs being funded in Ottawa County. We've got them making decisions, making policy suggestions, making staffing suggestions. So if we don't run our community, guess who's running it? That's right, the radical leftists. So, you know what? I think I think that this lady has said it all for me. I don't think we need to go any further. They actually they had later on, they were talking about people that identify as having mental health issues. I didn't pull that clip because I forgot where it is. But if you want to go through and watch this, they have a lot of stuff about migrants. They have, they're doing a lot. They're dumping a lot of money into, keeping migrants healthy, and which is great. I mean, migrants are awesome if they're here legally. I'm not 100% convinced that they would run a background check and make sure that public funding is going to migrants that are here legally. I mean, now I'm not saying that migrants here illegally shouldn't get anything, but I think that should be voluntary. I don't think public tax money that is supposed to go into our community should be going to illegal aliens. That's just a little far. They talked about, again, like I said, people identifying as having mental health issues. Not a single county commissioner on that board stood up and said, what do you mean identifying as having mental health issues? You don't just identify as having a mental health issue. You either have one or you don't. So this kind of leftist ideology where you perceive your own reality and then everybody else has to live by it, despite being absolutely ridiculous, is still encroaching into our commissioners' meeting. So I would encourage you to go and watch this meeting. You will find things in there that you did not think were happening in your county. All right, so that is that. That's all I have time for you for today. Like I said, we're going to be doing an interview with Matt Finsky, Ottawa County Commissioner in District 9. Hopefully we'll be getting Greg DeYoung in here. Hopefully we'll be getting Sylvia Rhodes in here. We are going to have a clash of commissioners here on the Homes Politicast in the next couple of weeks. I will have all of that lined up for you. Until then, I am Anon Don. This is the Homes Politicast. Remember to like this and share this with people in Ottawa County, across West Michigan. If you like what we're doing here, we need subscribers. We need your help to keep this going. Well, I'm going to keep it going, but we need your help to spread the message that there is information out there that is going into or there are people out there giving information that will help you become more politically savvy and help you understand how you can control your government instead of letting your government control you. Wow, I totally messed up that line. Till next time, you guys have a good one.